Welcome back, students. In this video, you're going to learn about the do-while loop. It is just a little different from the while and the for loops, so let's go take a look. As you've seen with the other loops, the statement can be either very simple or complex. If it's in a compound statement, a lot of statements that need to work together, then you still need your curly braces, and you also will need to make sure that you have a statement included that updates the expression that controls the loop. Otherwise, you'll find yourself with an infinite loop. As long as the expression evaluates to true, the loop will continue. Here's the syntax for the do-while loop. Do whatever your statements are while it's true. The statement executes first, so you do whatever it is you want to happen first, and then the expression, is it true, is evaluated. If it's true, then you do another round. If it's not true, the loop will end. To avoid an infinite loop, your body must contain a statement that makes the expression false. So it's something in this statement area. You have to have something that updates, a value or something, to eventually make this expression false. There is something a little different about a do-while loop. It will always execute at least once. Why? Well, let's look at the flow of execution on the next slide and see if you can figure it out. All right, so here's the flow of execution. You come in, here's the statement, right? Maybe it's a C out, C in, whatever they are. Then the expression is checked. If it's true, it comes back around, does the statements again. Then it checks it. If it's true, it does it again. And of course, if it's false, it exits and goes on with the rest of your program. Notice you do the statement and then you check. So that's why it always executes at least once, because these statements that come after the do statement all happen before you check to see if your expression is true or not. Here's a very simple example. We have a variable I that's been declared somewhere else, right? And it equals 0, so we initiated it to 0. Do, here's our curly brace that allows these two statements to act as one. Okay, so do these while I is less than or equal to 20. So we set it to 0 and it said C out I, so the first time it'll be a 0. Here it is here. And then I equals I plus 5. So here's where we do our update. So 0 plus 5 is 5, so I is now 5. So it goes back up. Do C out 5. Here we are, 5. And then a space. So we got a space between each one. And then I equals I plus 5. Well, it's 5, so 5 plus 5 is now 10. I is now 10, so it goes back around, C out 10, and a space. So here's our 10 and our space. And then it checks it, it adds 5 again. So now I is 15, while I is less than or equal to 20, it is. So it goes around, I is 15, so it prints 15 and a space. And then it adds 5, I equals 15 plus 5, so now I is 20, and goes around, C out 20, and a space, and then we add 5, I equals 20 plus 5, that's 25, it checks it, is I less than or equal to 20? No. So now we exit the loop. So after 20 is output, then it checks, it's no longer true. Its statement right here on the while is no longer true, so the loop is exited. This is just a little note about the three types of loops. The while and the for loops are pre-test loops. In other words, you test before you actually do the statements. You don't ever do any of the loop until you test first. But with a do-while loop, you do at least one execution of your loop and then you test after. So that's the difference between while, for, and do-while loops as far as the logic goes. Okay, so let's look at these two examples. Consider the following two loops. I equals 11, while I is less than or equal to 10. So I is already at 11, so it's not less than or equal to 10. See out I equals I plus 5. See out the end. Will this ever execute? I don't think so, right? Because it starts out, I is above, this is false right off the bat, so it never executes. So let's look at this same program, similar program, but using a different loop. We're going to use a do while loop. I equals 11, do, see out I, so you're going to put to the screen 11 with a space, then add 5 to 11, that'd be 16. Then it checks, is I less than or equal to 10? No, so it ends. So you did do the see out though at least once in this instance. With the do while loop, you do the statements and then check. So you always at least once execute it. You've completed part 5 of chapter 5. You should have a great understanding of the do while loop. In part 6, you're going to learn about a few key practices for loop structures and for nested loops. See you there.